Hello, this is a creative vinyasa yoga practice where we will be using the traditional yoga postures and then exploring how we can move in them. So it's more sort of free movement or movement exploration based rather than a traditional asana physical yoga practice. Um, so less focused on strict alignment and more focused on connecting to your body's movement and breath and exploring, where you want to move today, and maybe getting a bit creative in terms of um, how you approach your physical yoga practice. And we're going to use the visualization of a tree. So as we go through the postures, I want us to visualize the body as like a tree. So the feet and the legs are like the roots of our tree, and then the torso and the spine is the trunk of our tree, and then the arms are our branches. So for each posture, we're going to work our way up through the roots to the trunk and then up to the branches. So with that said, please enjoy your practice. The first posture we'll start with is blown palm tree pose. Sometimes people call this half moon, but we'll go with the blown palm tree because it works well for the tree visualization. So on an inhale, rise the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bend over to the right. Inhale, reach the arms, reach your branches upwards to the sky. Exhale, bend into the left. Inhale to reach your branches up tall, pushing down through the roots of the feet. And then exhale, bend to the right. And keep swaying with the pace of your breath. Inhaling to reach up, exhaling to sway to the side. Blown palm tree. And feel the roots of your tree, the feet ground down as you reach up through the side of the body, the trunk of the tree, and up through the branches. And then from here, we can start to explore with the feet. So maybe you take one foot back as you blow in the wind to the side, and then bring that foot back to meet, and then take the other foot back as you sway to the other side. And keep connected to that rhythm of breath. So we can think of the breath as like the wind, and we are swaying with the wind of the breath. And then if you want to add a balance challenge, as the feet meet each other, you could lift up onto the toes and then drop back down and then step back and sway. And using the toes to really grip the ground for balance and support. And then we can start to play with the branches, play with the arms. So maybe you swing the arms forwards and sway your arms, your branches to the side. And focusing more on how this feels internally rather than how it looks. So our yoga practice is very internal. So we're focusing on the sensations that we feel in the body rather than the outwards appearance of how this looks. Take one more sway to each side. Nice. And then have a little shake, have a wiggle around. And the next posture we'll come into as a wide-legged forward fold. So taking the feet out wide, and then peek down and notice the shape that you've created with the legs. So we've created a triangle shape with the legs and the feet. And a triangle is said to be one of the most strongest, most stable structures in geometry. So just notice that you've created a really strong, stable foundation through the roots of your legs and feet, and feel that downward grounding down. Maybe you feel the inner thighs hug towards each other. Feel that stability in the base of your tree. And then we're going to continue the triangle theme up with the arms and the branches. So taking the hands behind the head, notice the triangles that you've created with the arms. And then from here, you can start to explore some movement. So maybe you take the elbows and hips to one side and then the other. All of the cues that I give are just guidance. You can choose to move in another way that feels most comfortable and intuitive for you. So maybe you want to roll the neck around. Or you can open up the chest, pressing the elbows back, and then tuck the chin in towards the chest. Connecting to the rhythm of your breath. And then we'll take a forward fold. So taking the hips back and reaching the chest forward as you come down to the ground. The hands can maybe come to the mat or to the feet. And then I like to invite some micro movements in the hips. So taking the hip from side to side by gently bending into the knee to sway the body and the hips from side to side. Allowing the head to hang heavy. So you peek through the legs, see what's behind you. No tension in the neck or the head. And maybe you just keep allowing your body to sway with the wind of breath. Or if you want a stronger practice, you can come into Skandasana. And then we're going to take the hands to the hips. And on a big inhale, reach the chest upwards to the sky, coming back up to standing. And take shakes of the body that you need before we come on to the next posture. So the next one we'll do is Warrior 2. Now I'm breaking the yogi rule of not being barefoot because it's kind of I'm a bit cold, so I might slip. But if you want to sort of really ground down and make sure you're not slipping, taking your socks off is a good way to keep stable. So we find in Warrior 2 position with the feet. And first, just start to bend into that right knee. So opening up the hip joint, keeping the right knee pressing out to the sides. So I like to tap my knee to remind it to stay pressing outwards. So the right glute is engaged. We've got weight in both feet. And feel that opening, that expansion in the hip as we bend forwards and back. And connecting the breath to that rhythm. So inhaling and exhaling as you bend and straighten the leg. Noticing any sounds to your breath. And then from here, we'll start to work with the roots. So as you bend the leg, maybe you lift the heel up, and as you straighten the leg, maybe you lift up the toes. and staying strong and rooted through the legs and the feet. Nice tall trunk, tall spine. And then from there, you can start to add in your branches. So allowing the branches to sway with the wind, however you feel is most intuitive and comfortable for your body. Take one more sway with the wind of breath. And then bring the right toes forwards to face the long edge of the mat. Turn the left toes out as we transition to the left side. So you're just first starting to bend into that left knee, finding that opening in the left hip, kicking the left knee out to the side. And then you can start to move the roots, move the feet. So lifting the toes up as you straighten the leg, and then lifting the heel as you bend the knee. Notice what parts of the body are engaged. So notice that engagement in the inner thigh, the glute, the quad, as you keep lifted up through the spine, the torso. And then once that feels comfortable, you can start to sway your branches in the wind. And notice where your gaze is. So sometimes I like to focus my gaze on my hand as it swings by. So in yoga, we use drishtis, focus points for the gaze, because where the gaze goes, our attention goes. So when we focus our mind on one point, we focus our attention to one point to stop the mind from wandering off the mat. Take one more swing. And then we'll come to a Malasana yogi squat. So start to shift the feet inwards to a wide-legged position, coming down, dropping the hips into Malasana. And so from traditional Malasana, we'll come into what I like to call rocking Malasana, where we just start, you can put your hands down to the floor to begin with, and just start to lift the toes and lift the heels. So we're shifting the weight side to side, rocking in Malasana. And I like to use my elbow to push the knee out as the toes lift. So you get into a nice rocking, swaying motion. And you can either keep going, keeping the hands to the floor, or if you want a little balance challenge, you can practice bringing the hands up. Really good for ankle strength. So notice that engagement in the ankles as you lift the toes up. And if you want a little bit of a stronger practice, you can start to crawl your hands and knees out to each side. So coming forward on the hands, dropping the knees, shifting back. Shifting to the hands and knees, shifting back. And then something that I've started doing as well, when I feel like I'm up to it and I haven't just eaten, I like to tuck my head under and do a forward roll. I'm not going to do it now because I've just had breakfast, but if you want to play with that, you go from Malasana, tuck the head under and do a little forward roll. Okay, once you've finished playing, you're going to come to sit on the bum and come to lie on the back, all the way back. I'll hug the right knee in towards the chest, giving yourself a little squeeze and taking the knee from side to side, noticing that movement in the hip joint and any stretch in that right hip. And then glide the knee to the left side, coming into a spinal twist, and taking the right arm to the opposite side, feeling that opening, that expansion in the chest. And then you can start to sway the branch of your arm. So reaching the arm up over the head and swinging it round to come into almost like curling yourself up into a ball. And then swinging the arm back up overhead, opening up the chest again. So thinking about that opening and closing of the chest. And then I like to inhale as the arm comes up and opens the chest, and exhale as the arm closes and the chest closes. Take one more reach. And then come to switch to the other side. So first, hugging the left knee in towards the chest and giving yourself a little massage in that left hip. So taking the knee from side to side, swaying that left knee from side to side, just noticing how it mobilizes that hip joint. So again, we're connecting to the feeling of these movements in the body. It's not thinking about how they look, but more how they feel in the body. So where do you feel this? Do you feel it in the hip? And then gliding the left knee over to the right side, coming into a spinal twist on the other side. Left arm extends straight in the opposite direction. Feel that opening, that expansion in the chest. And then you can start to sway your arm up overhead and closing into a little ball. And then expanding, reaching up and over, opening the chest again. So think about that opening and closing of the chest. And take one last sweep. And then roll back onto the back and take any final posture or movement that you wish to take. So yogi's choice before we come into Savasana. So you might want to take happy baby or just rock and roll your back against the mat. once you've finished with your final posture, extend the legs out straight as we settle into Shavasana. So traditionally the arms rest by the sides with the palms facing skywards. However, you can choose to rest one hand on the belly and one hand on the rib and connect to that movement of the belly as we inhale and exhale. So again, focusing on how the body moves with the breath. So as you inhale, maybe you notice the belly rise as you fill up with air. As you exhale, maybe you notice the belly fall. Inhaling to expand, exhaling to release any tension that you can feel in the body. And we're going to use that tree visualization one last time. As you inhale, imagine air being sucked up through the roots of your tree, up through the feet, up through your legs and the trunk of your tree, up the arms, up to the crown of the head. So imagining that the air is being sucked up through your roots and reaching all the way up to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, the air goes back down through the tree of your body. If your mind starts to wander, focus your attention on either the sounds around you or the feeling of your body weight supported by the mat. Allowing the body to just be here in stillness. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to plan. Just be and breathe. On your next in-breath, feel the breath deepen. And feel the points of contact of your body with the ground below. And then start to invite some gentle movement back into the body, wiggling the toes and the fingers, maybe taking the head from one side to the next. And however you want to get there, we'll meet in a seated position, no rush. So I like to hug my knees into my chest and then rock and roll like a baby up to a seat. So I hope you found that helpful and useful in your own practice. Maybe it gave you a little bit of inspiration or just helped to declutter the mind and connect to your body. If you liked this video, please let me know either by giving it a like or letting me know how you found it in the comments. And if you'd like to keep updated on future content, you can subscribe to this channel. Thank you.